Here is the weekly horoscope for Sunday, October 5th to Saturday, October 11th, 2025. This week the universe shifts gears with a jolt of clarity and a hint of mystery. We begin under an Aries full moon, lighting up courage, independence, and the raw truth of who we are when no one's watching. It's that moment when emotions combust into realization, when something you've carried silently finally asks to be seen. Then on October 6th, Mercury dives into Scorpio, turning conversations from polite to piercing. Small talk won't cut it. People say what they mean, or reveal it through silence. Hidden motives, confessions, and deep insight rise to the surface like bubbles in dark water. By the week's end, Venus in Virgo opposes Saturn in Pisces, creating a tug between love and limits, care and control. It's the cosmic audit of how we give and receive affection. Are we nurturing or enabling, serving or self-sacrificing? Overall, this week invites courageous honesty. To speak your truth, face what's real and cut the fluff. The air hums with intensity, but it's the kind that leads to growth, not chaos. This week's full moon in Aries pulls up what's been dormant in your identity. Old wounds, desires, hidden drives, and demands you show up. The push is strong to be you fully, even if it scares others. When Mercury slides into Scorpio, you sense undercurrents and half-truths. Use that radar to cut through illusions. Be bold, but temper the impulse to burn bridges. Sometimes silence or the right question is more powerful than action. For Taurus, you've been building something internal, values, self-worth, emotional structure, and now the cosmos tests the boundaries. The full moon in Aries pries open what you thought was settled. With Mercury's shift, communication about money, worth, or loyalty becomes a potent theme. You're being asked, what's non-negotiable and what can flex? Let noble compromise guide you rather than rigid fear. For Geminis, your mind is restless as Mercury enters Scorpio. You're craving not just conversation but depth, hidden meaning, something that changes perspective. The full moon in Aries may spotlight tensions in your one-on-one relationships. One of you demands more, the other recoils. Venus opposing Saturn warns you not to overpromise emotionally or hide real limits. Choose clarity now, even if it's messy, rather than letting things fester. Cancer, you feel pulled between caring for your inner world and showing up in the external one. The moon's dance this week gives you emotional insights, especially when the full moon in Aries rings alarms in your boundaries. Mercury in Scorpio helps you articulate the soft no's, the internal walls you've long held unspoken. As Venus squares Saturn, someone may test your generosity or demand more than you can give. Protect your energy. For Leos, you're in motion. Your confidence, your bold ideas, your public presence. The full moon in Aries amplifies your drive to make something real, to claim territory. Mercury's shift deepens conversation, possibly into strategy, magnetism, or power dynamics. But Venus opposite Saturn will ask, are you overextending in relationships or overpromising your time? Pause if needed before leapfrogging ahead. Virgo, you're a translator this week. You interpret what others dare not speak. You see patterns behind their words. Mercury in Scorpio heightens that gift and risk of overanalysis. The full moon highlights emotional undercurrents in your routine, home, or wellness life. Venus opposing Saturn may cause friction between how much you want to be of service and how much you need to care for your own limits. Create margin before you overfill. For the Libras out there, this is a crucible week for you, Libra. The full moon in Aries activates your partnerships. One side wants transformation, the other fears change. With Mercury's entry into Scorpio, Secrets or deep truths may push to the surface. Venus tension with Saturn could bring disappointment or the realization that someone depends on you more than they should. You're being asked to shift from avoidance to honest negotiation. Be gracious but firm. Scorpio, Mercury entering your sign is your signal. Speak your truth or you'll feel fractured. You sense what's hidden in relationships, in loyalties, in deals, and you have power to shift them. The full moon in Aries may demand that you detach from what no longer serves your emotional growth. But Venus square Saturn warns, don't misread a test for defeat. This week calls for trust in your instincts, not blind leaps. For Sagittariuses, you've been chasing openness, expansion, connection. Now the stars ask you to anchor that with depth. Mercury in Scorpio gives you the curiosity and ability to go beneath surface charm. The full moon may spotlight a tension between what you say publicly and what you feel privately. In relationships, someone may request more consistency just as you're craving freedom. Dance between agency and commitment, and choose the form of freedom that doesn't burn bridges. Capricorn, you're doing quiet alchemy this week, turning frustrations into clarity and unspoken tension into a new direction. The full moon in Aries might provoke a breakthrough, possibly in your career, reputation, or how the world sees you. Mercury's transit invites you to talk strategy, shift perceptions, and tell your story more truthfully. But with Venus opposing Saturn, you'll need to draw appropriate boundaries around what you owe versus what drains you. Use no as a tool, not a weakness. For Aquarius, the push this week is internal. To redefine your values, to rework what's hidden, and to see what loyalty really costs. Mercury in Scorpio gives you a sharp, intuitive voice. You may hear what others can't say. The full moon in Aries stirs urgency in your motivation and levels up your creative or spiritual work. Venus clash with Saturn suggests someone may pressure you to commit, or you realize a relationship is no longer elastic. Hold your line with grace. Growth may be wild, but you can tame the edges. Pisces, emotional tides run high for you now. The full moon in Aries pulses at your edges, pushing you to name what you feel even when you don't fully understand it. Mercury in Scorpio helps unearth subconscious fears or desires. Use it to speak your dreams, not just your doubts. Venus opposite Saturn may highlight shifts, societal, relational, spiritual, that no longer fit. This week offers you the chance to clear the fog. What serves your soul? What drains it? As this Aries full moon fades and Mercury settles into Scorpio's depths, remember, fire burns away what's false so truth can breathe. Whatever rises to the surface this week, emotion, memory, desire, is meant to remind you who you are when the masks fall. Venus and Saturn's clash may have stirred some emotional friction, but friction is what polishes the diamond. By the weekend, you'll likely see how what felt heavy actually made space for something more authentic. So take a breath, ground your energy, and carry that clarity forward. Your evolution isn't chaos, it's choreography. If you found insight or comfort in this forecast, hit like, share it with your cosmic tribe, and subscribe to Celestial Zodiac so you don't miss next week's journey through the stars.